What's up? Welcome to it. I am just starting to pull stuff up here. Some of my notes and all of that good stuff. We got a big game coming up here. I know that the season, looking at records and stuff, it's not, it's not in everything right now. I'm not really worried so much about the record. I'm more worried about can they show any sign of life or improvement or adjustment. Those are the things that, you really need to see, especially at a point like this when we're 1-4. You know what I mean? It's not pretty for the Miami Dolphins, and at the same time, it could be worse. We could be the Jets. That would make things worse. Barking dogs incoming. Amazon just pulled up to the house, so bear with me on that when that happens. Oh man, we got a bunch of bird dogs that live here. I have 2 Brittany's and a blue tick coonhound. So, oh, dude, no problem. Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Um, Usually, I do my live streams on Tuesday nights, and then sometimes during the week there's the barking dogs, just like I said. But right now, this week, everything's busy. I have a full-time job. I'm a truck driver up here in North Pole, Alaska. So, I'm pretty busy, and this is just a hobby of mine. It's nothing, not a career. So obviously, I don't have enough subscribers and AdSense and all of that to be able to make a living off of this. I'm not Dougley or TD Fence Talk, right? So, um, I wanted to talk about a few things aside from the game, but I do want to focus on the game at hand. We have the Chargers coming to town, and this is a good football team. Now they've struggled recently; they've lost 2 straight. Um, they oh nice truck driver to truck driver. um, the Chargers have lost 2 straight, and they're battling a lot of injury, nowhere near the scale of injury struggles that we have. Right, nothing like that. So while they do have some offensive line issues and their running back is out and a couple other things, it's nowhere near the scale of what the Dolphins are going through. And obviously, the Chargers are favored to win. Um, right now, it's 3.5 points. Right now, they're 3.5 point favorites. Um, the over under is 45.5 points, and that's, it's kind of middle of the road. I almost expect a higher scoring game than that. I'm not expecting an incredible amount of defense in this game from either side. I kind of see this as being a lot closer. I'm just going to lightly cover this. I see this game being a lot closer than a lot of people think. I do not think the Dolphins are going to win this game. However, I do think it'll be close. How close? Time will tell. We'll get into a little bit of that here. I'm going to save my prediction for a little later in the stream, but no, do not think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think the Chargers. I think this is going to wind up being one of those games where Justin Herbert gets to do whatever Justin Herbert wants to do. There's just so many issues on defense. I don't see it all getting fixed. I did want to kind of touch on the fact that I do think that I'm not quite ready to give up on Anthony Weaver. I'm not at that point personally. If you watch the game, I mean, watching the game once is one thing, but watching the all 22 and looking at what the players are doing in the game, it kind of tells me that a different story than what a lot of us think. It tells me a story of not so much scheme and not so much assignment, but it's follow through. It's basic stuff. It's mostly seems right now. I'll say majority of the issues on defense are coming from our players or lack of players, I guess. One of those two things. I don't think it's so much coaching, as weird as that might sound. So bear with me there. you're looking at a defense that there's so many in that game, so many missed tackles. Um, Initial contact was good. Point of contact for most tackles during that game last week was good. It was the fact of tackling for the ball or trying to strip the ball first. And I think the Dolphins got a little bit turnover happy after finally getting a couple turnovers where they just biffed on so many tackles. It was horrible. So I'd like to see a little better tackling, and you can bet that this is going to be a focus for the Dolphins during this week of practice. I could not imagine this being something that I saw so readily happening during that game and Anthony Weaver not catching it. I have a feeling that's going to be a focus for sure for the Miami Dolphins in this game coming up, making tackles. And also, there's a couple things they could do. Obviously, we have Dotson out. He's our green dot guy. For those of you that don't know, the green dot is the guy that gets the plays called into his helmet, and he's the one that's responsible for communicating the play to the rest of the defense. So with him out, it's a question of who's going to be the new green dot player for Miami in this game. There's a couple things to think of here. Number one, obviously, it could wind up being Jordan Brooks. I don't think that's a responsibility that Jordan Brooks wants. So I would expect that responsibility to fall on somebody else now. They've done up to this point before Dotson got hurt. They did a lot of focus on KJ Britt doing the green dot. So he does have experience doing that, and he's capable. However, I don't like that idea personally, just because I really want Willie Gay in the game. I think that a large part of the issue, no disrespect to Dotson. Hey, FinStech, dude, CB, what's up, brother? Good to see you in here, man. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. I see, what was I talking about? I was talking about green dots. Oh, yeah. I see Willie Gay just not getting enough opportunity to be in the game. And not saying that Dotson is a bad player at all. I think he's fantastic. But I think Willie Gay would do better in that position right now. We need somebody who's a little bit better. I know our run game sucks, but Willie Gay can play the run. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people say that Willie Gay is more of a pass protection linebacker, and he is better at pass protection, but he can also block the run. He can play the run, and I really hit on sheer will and enthusiasm alone, I want Willie Gay in the game. I think putting him in there would be a little bit of a jump start for this Miami Dolphins defense, a little bit of that positive energy. And who doesn't love the Willie Gay scream? I do. I absolutely love it. In fact, I'm having an intro made for my streams that's going to end with Willie Gay screaming. I love it. I believe part of it is because players want the big hit to be on ESPN, and the other part is some players forget the fundamentals. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how many people have played football outside of, going to high school. Outside of high school, I played some college ball. A lot of other people who are members here have played some college ball. I think that you're right there. There's a point where you kind of forget your fundamentals and you get excited. And that's something that definitely happens even in college. Players will kind of let the fundamentals slip because they think they see an opportunity for something big. And we just need to settle down with that. Yeah, absolutely. And we need someone who's going to bring that energy in the game. Dude, that's Willie Gay. You're right. That's Willie Gay. That's what he does. He's nothing but a ball of energy. And I think that the way he flies around, his ability to cover low under, I think that in the pass game, and he has the ability to play the run. Don't get it twisted. I know a lot of these mainstream beat writers and stuff like to say, well, you have KJ Britt, he's your run stopper, and you have Willie Gay, and he's your pass pro guy. Or your pass coverage guy, and it's just not that simple. Willie Gay can play the run, and furthermore, Willie Gay can play the pass really well too. And his energy bleeds into other players, and that's what we need more than anything. I think that would be a huge start. Also, I know we're having defensive line struggles. I think there's a couple ways to fix that. to create a little more organic pass rush instead of having to scheme up all these blitz packages. Number one, stop dropping our edge rushers into coverage. I know the idea behind it. I know what they're trying to do, but it's not working. All right. Jalen Phillips is being taken out of almost every play by putting him in that position and having him drop back. We need organic pass rush, and the best way to get that is to send your edge rushers. Let them blitz like they're supposed to on passing downs. Let them do it. Stop dropping them back and sending a corner and sending a safety and sending, stop. Stop blitzing the middle linebackers if you have to. Send the edge rushers. Let them do their job. That would be a huge start. Second of all, I know Kenneth Grant is struggling, right? And we knew this was going to happen. I'm not at the point where I'm going to write off our rookies yet. They are rookies. They've played 5 games in the NFL, right? 5 games. There is a huge uptick from college football to the NFL. The speed alone takes some getting used to, right? So in order to do that, we just need to give them a little more time. Now, you would like to see some improvement and some promise from those players, right? Namely, Kenneth Grant. But we knew the deal with Kenneth Grant, right? He's got a couple things he needs to work out. Number one, he needs to work out. He is not the most physically fit specimen, right? And I know you need a big guy to play the position that he plays, but he's got to stay in the gym. I don't think his upper body strength is where it needs to be. And I think as the longer he spends in the gym training with the training staff and the weight staff and gets work in, the longer this season goes on, I don't see it getting any worse. I see it getting better for him. So that's a big thing to remember, for Kenneth Grant, is just give him a little more time. I mean, granted, first-round pick, you would like to see more results, right? We all would. But just because he's had a rough first 5 games, that doesn't mean he's trash. It doesn't mean write him off. Someone made a really good comparison to an ex-Dolphins player that everybody absolutely loves. And it's pretty accurate when you think about it. Randy Starks. Does anybody remember Randy Starks? Fantastic defensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins for years. Played amazing. But that first year we had him, he was comparable to Kenneth Grant. Very, very questionable. And we didn't have social media, so I can't say that there was a bunch of people saying what we're saying about Kenneth Grant. I think we take advantage of social media sometimes. But Kenneth Grant, he's a Randy Starks type of player. We just need to give him some more time. So while I do understand the reasoning behind, well, we need to get these rookies to make make a difference, I get it, but we need to be a little more patient with our rookies. Okay. I think in order to do that, you take a few ops away from him, say, hey, and he knows he's not playing up to par. Anthony Weaver touched on that today in his press conference, right? He said, it just needs to be a little better. As a guy who played football in Little League and high school, I would love to see Ingo get the ball a little more like the Niners do. I don't disagree with that at all. You can't really hand off to a fullback more than a couple times in a game, really. I think the last team to do more than that was probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they had Allstott. I mean, everybody remembers that. But that's a good point. And we'll get to the offense here in a minute, but definitely I think that's a good point. I'll touch on that too when we get to it for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Ingold would be a good option, and that would be a punch him in the face type of play, But for this defense, and mainly this defensive line, a good thing to do, I already said, Willie Gay more time playing, stop dropping back our edge rushers. And the other thing, we have got to give Zeke Biggers more time. We've got to give him the ball. We got to give him in the game. Have to. Take Kenneth Grant out a little bit. He's averaging something like 39 plays a game, Kenneth Grant is. So if you take take 10 snaps away from him, give those to Zeke Biggers and let him get some work. Zeke Biggers is strong. Unbelievably strong. Jordan Phillips too. Both of them. Get them in the game. Give them more snaps and let Kenneth Grant have the same amount of snaps as the other two. Split the snaps between the three. Benito Jones had a great game last game. There was a lot of dark spots in that game, especially in the second half against the Panthers, but Benito Jones was not one of them. He played fantastic. I watched that game 3 separate times. Benito Jones played well. I think we just need to take a few snaps away from Kenneth Grant. That way the accountability is there. You don't play well, we're going to take a few away from you, and we're going to let these other guys get to eat a little bit. I think that would be a good move. Those 3 things, as far as the cornerback room goes, we're hurting, right? We don't have a nickel back anymore. Granted, they re-signed Jordan Colbert. You remember he made the 53 the beginning of this year, and they cut him to make room for Rasul Douglas, right? So they re-signed him. So he's going to get some playtime, I'm sure. And you're going to look at probably the safeties are going to end up picking up the slack there and playing the nickel. We do have a couple safeties that could do that. Minkah Fitzpatrick would be the obvious choice. So that's one way to do it. Jorge, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in, bro. Those of you guys that are in here, make sure you throw a like down. It helps out more than you could possibly understand. Some of you understand. Definitely helps, right? But that's the main thing. Our cornerbacks are going to be hurting until we get a couple of these guys back, and it is going to happen. It's just got to make it another week or two, and this is unfortunately is a big game. There's a lot of questions here, but I covered just now in that first 17 minutes and 25 seconds of this video. I covered what we need to do on defense. That's those things, just those small things would make a huge difference. The biggest thing, aside from personnel choices, is that initial tackle needs to be for the ball and not for a big splash play, right? Too many missed tackles, too many tackles swiping at someone's arm instead of just going for the body. Okay, so that's a huge thing, and that's all levels of football. That's not just NFL. That's everywhere. That needs to happen. And I know we're 1-4, and I know the season looks bleak. And I had my video, the last one. I really ripped into this team. I was in that fire everyone mentality. And the only one I feel like I need to walk back just a little bit is the Anthony Weaver statements. After watching the game a couple more times, I want to walk back my Anthony Weaver hatred just a little bit. I don't hate Anthony Weaver, obviously, but I want to walk back the comments a little bit and say that I think that I want to give him a little more grace for now. But that's what needs to happen. So the focus this week needs to be on initial tackles, that initial point of contact. Anybody who's played football, point of contact is something that's just it's beaten into our skulls, right? In the beginning levels of football, and then when you get into college and you even if you progress into the NFL, it's still important, and it's something that's coached all the way through, right? So these guys need to chill out with the trying to make the splash play. Anthony Weaver's touched on it, and said that sometimes guys go a little rogue because they get excited and they want to try to make a big play. The biggest play you can make is doing your job. So, Rafa. Oh my goodness, you're killing me, bro. Oh, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Blake, what's up, man? Rafa, thanks for coming in, dude. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you drop that like on the way in. That's I would love to see Alec Ingold play quarterback at least one play. Come on, give him the ball, let him throw a pass. Waddle will bail him out. So that's what we do with defense, right? That's what we do. And as I'm going through this game, there is a way. There is an avenue to win this game. There is. I maintain my position that the players on this team, if I didn't know the records, I would not think this would be a 1-4 football team. So it is what it is. They've earned that record, and now they have to do something about it. Question is, will they? Defense, it's simple. I think that just focusing on point of contact and initial tackles would help out a bunch with the run game. Doing your job is the other main thing, right? Don't let yourself get put out of position trying to make a play. Keep yourself in the game and in the play by doing your job. Maintain your gaps. Maintain your bubbles if you're in the secondary. Do what you need to do. You have a lane, you have a zone, you have a gap. Do what you're supposed to do. That would be huge for this team, to have a defense that stays home when they're supposed to. And then actually blitzing your edge rushers would be amazing. I don't think so. I mean, going off of what's happened so far, the Miami Dolphins are number last in the NFL for allowing the run. So no, you'd probably be smart, and you might end up with a really big day. I hope it's not a 209-yard rushing game for him, but you could definitely say it's a good bet that you might have a good night at fantasy with that. Eagles 3, Giants 0. That's the score right now. Yep. I see it. I was going to put the game on that TV there, but there was a couple times last season when I would put the Thursday night game on while I was doing a live stream, and YouTube didn't like it. So I'm kind of wondering if that was why or what the deal was. I was doing a couple other things with my videos at the same time, so I'm not sure what the actual problem was. YouTube's really bad about that, about saying what the actual problem is. It's like they just want you to take the video down. They don't want you to edit out whatever the problem was. It's ridiculous. As far as our offense goes, and I'll talk about the matchups a little bit and stuff here in a minute, but I just kind of want to talk about defense, which I did. Now we're going to cover some offense stuff. Let's see. Gator Fanatic, he actually made a good point about in the run game about Alec Ingold, and I think that it's a solid point. So I'll put it up here again. He'd like to see Ingold get the ball a little more, and he's right. A little bit of unexpected is to be expected, I guess is the best way to say that. It would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I'd love to see us put Ingold not in the game just to block, but give him the ball. Now, should you expect a ton of yards? No, but Ingold's not afraid of contact, and I think putting him in here and there, and slipping the ball to him instead, run a dive and have the fullback counter off to the left instead of running the dive, or run a counter and fake the counter to Achane and then have him run a dive on the fake. I mean, these are basic football plays, right? We run these in high school, in college. Like, these are things that should happen occasionally to keep the team honest. So, I wonder if Ollie Gordon gets many touches after last week. Mike McDaniel has a short leash on running back. I do not place blame on our running backs last week, and the Miami Dolphins shouldn't either. I think Mike McDaniel he made some horrible decisions in the run game last week. Play selection, timing, a lot of things, right? So there needs to be a better effort with the run game. Obviously, that involves a few things. I think Ollie Gordon should get more touches this week. I think you should look for that. How many, I really don't know, but ideally I'd like to see him get 10 carries. That would be perfect for me. I would love to see that. Last week we also did this thing where Mike McDaniel was consistently putting Achane out of the backfield. I want Achane in the backfield. It's okay to put him at the slot, occasionally, but he had Achane lined up as a receiver, not just a slot receiver, but lined up as the 2. or you can say X and Y, whatever you want to call it, lined him up as the second receiver, not just the third receiver, which is the slot. So he needs to get back to what worked better. Okay, Achan is slot. That's dedication right there. um, so I mean, the dedication to the run game, it needs to be more straightforward. Um, we had a little bit of success running the ball when we were running straight ahead, right? Not in this last game, because we kept calling stretch plays and sweeps. And when you run those consistently and they start queuing up, the defense starts queuing up on that. You wreck things quick. It's not good. So especially if you're not getting any honor out of the middle, out of running dives, counter plays, off tackle stuff. Off tackle is fine, but it needs to be straightforward. It can't be these stretches, all right, where the running back just kind of bounce side to side, looking for his gap that opens up magically. It's too time consuming, number one, and you're allowing the defense to catch up to you. So they need to be running straightforward run plays. And by straightforward, I mean no stretches, no sweeps. Occasional sweep, fine, but not consistently. Unless they totally just give up on the flats. If they do that, then yeah, go for it. But I mean, if you see big gaps in the flats, then run a sweep, run end around, do something like that. But otherwise, stay out of that crap. It's a simple fix. Achan is good enough after contact. Ollie Gordon is definitely good enough after contact to get positive yards, and certainly more than 19 for a game. I don't care who you're playing. Certainly against the Chargers, right? So that would be a huge start. As far as the passing game goes for Miami, I'm not going to complain too much. We had some deep passes. Tua had a decent game. I'm going to, as far as the we all know Tua's issue. It's not can you have a good game? It's can you make the plays when you need to? Can you put the team on your back and win the game? This game could very well be that game that it needs to happen in this game, just like it did against the Panthers. And if Tua goes and, craps the bed, like he tends to do in those situations, I mean, let's be real. He can do it. We've seen him do it. It's happened. It just hasn't happened consistently. So we need that from him because I have a feeling this game is going to be close. And it's going to come down to those last couple possessions. Yeah, I mean, there are times when taking what the defense gives you is the best thing to do, and sometimes taking what the defense gives you is throwing to a spot. It's one of those things where I think the main issue with him is progressions, and we'll get into part of that progression issue isn't really his fault, but some of it is, right? I'm not taking blame away from Tua on this. I always said that when he does good things, I'm going to give him credit. When he does bad things, I'm going to wring his neck because it's frustrating. We need a quarterback that can put the team on his back occasionally, and Tua has not been that, right? So Tua needs to step up because I have a feeling in this game he's going to have to win this game. He's going to have to. I mean, if you look at his stats, the stats aren't bad. The stats are pretty decent. 70-something completion percentage for the season, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks. I mean, 1,000 yards so far, not bad. I mean, it's not a bad stat line, but when it matters, can he do what he needs to do to get this team a win, to take this team down the field and score when it needs to happen? We need to see that from him, right? I'm just talking about things that need to happen, right? We need some of these things to happen for us in order for us to click and win a game. And we desperately need a win. We're 1-4, and we're playing a decent team. I'm not going to say a great team. I mean, the Chargers have lost 2 and they've won 3. They're 3-2. So, I mean, they're better than us, I think. And that's why I think the Chargers are going to, in fact, win this game. Yeah, I touched on that, the progression thing. I'll touch a little more here. He needs to learn how to read a defense better, and the main portion of that is progressions on the snap. Right, there is pre-snap reads. As far as pre-snap reads goes, I think he does a pretty decent job. But continuing to read while the play is developing, that's where I think Tua struggles. He struggles to get to the point where he's getting to his second and third reads. You do see it happen sometimes, so it's not like he can't do it, but he needs to get better at it and better dedication to it. Part of that is avoiding pressure. He has done a good job avoiding pressure lately. The issue is a lot of it is having time to throw, and the other half is on him. I'd say 50-50. Half of it's on him. He just needs to do it, right? At this point, it's 6 years in the league. He's got to be better at it. So you're right. It needs to improve. Really, 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 they just need to run the freaking ball. And they need to do it not just on first down when everybody thinks it's going to be a run play, right? You can't be predictable, but you need to run the ball at the same time. It's a quandary for Mike McDaniel. It's not really a quandary. He just needs to do a better job running the ball. He got away from it in this game against the Panthers, and it burned us. That's what it was. He got away from the run. The run plays became nothing but stretches and sweeps, and he did them on first down. That's it. Ooh. Jorge has Miami winning 27-24 last-minute field goal. Staying positive. I respect, and you know me. I'm a positive guy. I'm gonna say that we lose this game, but like I said earlier, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think it's going to come down to a last-minute something. And Jorge, if it ends up being Miami stealing a win, you're not going to see anybody happier than me. I'll be super happy. I'll be stoked. Oh, I'll be so happy. So, it could be worse. The situation isn't. It sucks, right? This isn't a good situation to be in. You got New England at 3-2. The Bills are at 4-1. Finally lost a game. Rafa says 17-16 Los Angeles. That'll be cool. Low scoring game. You thinking low scoring affair, huh, Raf? Man, that would be nuts if it was low scoring. I don't really see it being that, but it could. So what we're looking at here is, the number one receiver, the number one running back for the Chargers are out, right? Well, the top two running backs are out for the Chargers. They're hurting. They got both their guards are out. It's not looking good for the Chargers right now, and they've been struggling because of it. So once again, there's an avenue to win this game. I think organic pressure would be huge for our defense. And the best way to do that is to stop dropping our edge rushers back into coverage. That would be the first way. Stop being cute with the blitzes. Normal organic pass rush is perfect. It would be key in this game. And I so desperately want to see it. Let Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb bend their ears back and go. Stop having them drop back in coverage. You've got a hurt offensive line. You've got backup receivers, backup running back, third string running back. It's not great. Let's see. Yeah, they only scored 10. And they had a lot of issues. And one of the biggest issues the Chargers had. Now, this is my next point. This is low-hanging fruit at this point, but I'm going to say it. It's low-hanging fruit because it's something that every team needs to do in order to want to win a game or to win a game. But it's important. Penalties, staying clean in a game, right? A perfect example of that is the Chargers last week. They had so many penalties, operational penalties, right? Before the snap, false starts and illegal formations and things like that. I mean, it punished them. They had back-to-back-to-back plays where Herbert converted like a third and fourth and 18, 22, 21 yards. He did it 3 plays in a row, and it kept getting called back because of penalties. That game was nuts. The Chargers imploded is what ended up happening. Penalty after penalty after penalty. If you want to win the game, you've got to stay clean, at least cleaner than the other team. So that's going to be a challenge for the Chargers, and you can bet they're focused on it this week because of what happened to them. And we need to be focused on it as well. We need to stay clean. Enough of the ineligible linemen downfield. Jonas Vainaya needs to chill with that. The Mad Greek made a good point on his video with the Chief lost. The Dolphins are the 8th seed. Right? It's nuts. I'm not going to even – what I will say is parity in this league right now is insane. I mean, at week 5, we have no undefeateds. It's unreal. And I can't remember the last time it's been like that. It's been a long time, I think. We have it's an interesting thing going on right now in the NFL, especially in the AFC. The parity is unreal. Either a lot of teams suck horribly or it's extremely competitive. Either way, it doesn't really matter, right? The season, I mean, on paper, the season is not over. It's not. I mean, mathematically, it's about as ideal as a 1-4 football team would want it to be if you're going to try to get back into this and win a few games. It's just a question of can they, will they, right? I don't know. I think it's going to be hard. I mean, how many teams start out 1-4 and go into the playoffs? It's not that common. Now, the last time the Dolphins went 1-4, they finished the season 9-8, I think, or 9-7, one of the two. I can't remember if that was before or after the additional game got added, but it's not very easy to do. So, can they? Yeah, they can. Will they? I don't know. I hope so. I choose, like at the end of every video, I choose to stay hopeful, and I will. So those injuries for the Chargers, it's not great for them. They've got a lot of people hurt. Also, Perryman, Denzel Perryman's out too. He's on IR with an ankle. So they've got injuries, and there's the avenue for us to win is we can take advantage of some of these mismatches that we're going to have. Darren Waller is listed as questionable. He'll be fine. Cedric Wilson still listed as questionable. I'm not sure if they're going to have him in this game. I think we're going to find out tomorrow in Mike McDaniel's press conference what the deal is with Cedric Wilson. It'd be nice to have him. He's a go-get-it type of receiver, and he knows the playbook. So as soon as he's healthy, he's going to be playing. You don't got to worry about him learning the playbook too much, right? Tyrell Dodson, obviously, he's not going to be in there with the concussion. Aaron Brewer has a pec injury, but I think he's going to be playing. We'll find out more about those injuries soon. Elijah Campbell has a quad boo-boo, but once again, I think he's going to be in the game as well. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Okay. Let me get down here to... Sorry, I got a lot of scrolling to do here. What do you guys think about this game? Are you guys liking it or loving it or hating it? What do you think? Oh, man, that's tough. I don't know. Like I said, parity is a big part of this. When you say who's worse, like who's got the biggest chance of doing something in the season, or that's kind of where I look is, what are they going to do for the season? When I think about who's worse, Raiders are in a tough division. I'd say tougher than the AFC East. By that standpoint alone, I would think that the Raiders are probably a little worse off. Talent-wise, the Dolphins have a better team, but look at the results, right? So at this point, I really don't know. Maybe in a few more weeks we'll have a better picture. But this injury list for the Chargers is nuts. Okay, let's just go through this. Josh Fuga, Rashawn Slater, Jordan Oladukin, Junior Colson, Josh Harris, Dion Leonard, Eric Rogers, Khalil Mack, Najee Harris, Deshaun Hand, Omarion Hampton, Bud Dupree, Jamari Salyer, Trey Pipkins, Denzel Perryman, Joe Alt, Darius Davis, Scott Matlock, Quentin Johnson. There's a lot of people. And then you scroll down here to the lowly Miami Dolphins. And it's not much better, right? And this is everybody, right? Jason Maitre, Artie Burns, Obina Eze, Gator Kohu, Jalen Conyers, Alexander Madison, German Ifedi, Yadni Kajusti, Andrew Meyer, Jason Marshall Jr., Tyreek Hill, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, Storm Duck, Jason Sanders, Cornell Armstrong, Aaron Brewer, Elijah Campbell, Tyrell Dodson, Cedric Wilson, Darren Waller. I almost need a drink after reading that list. It's just huge. And the Dolphins and the Chargers have one of the bigger lists out of the NFL, like by far. Most of the other teams are much smaller. There's a couple that are bigger, but we've got a rough one. It's a rough season. A lot of injuries. But here in the next 2-3 weeks, we're going to get a lot of players back, both in our secondary and on our offensive line. And that will be huge. And right now, I'm of the opinion that having Liam Eichenberg back would be amazing because I would bench Larry Borum so fast, I would kick him off the team. As soon as Liam Eichenberg comes back, boot Larry Borum off the team. You want to talk about, let me explain who's trash on this team. Larry Borum is one of those players. He is absolute garbage. Larry Borum, if you're watching, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but you're playing like trash. I'm pretty sure my 43-year-old butt could come down to Miami and do just about as good as you are. I'm not even joking. It's disgusting watching him play football. I don't know how that man has a job. I almost feel like he should be fined for what he's doing on the field. Okay, sorry. I'm done with that. I'm expecting a loss, but can we please just get a win Sunday? I agree. Can we just get a win? Can we just something good? Beat a good team. They're not a great team, but beat a good team. It'd be incredible. Thanks for coming in, Aqua, too, by the way. McDaniel needs a translator. His speech is getting worse. Dude, it's so hard to listen to him anymore. And I think the more that all this stress goes on of the results that they're getting and stuff and the attention that he's getting, I think it's making it worse on him. Yeah, that's great. Storm Duck is back practicing. I mean, he's light duty, but he is back. I would expect that to be something that happens soon. And like I said, those of you that don't know, I'm a big fan of Storm Duck and Kader Kohu, and the main reason is because I love those players that come from nowhere, right? They're both undrafted free agents when they came into the league, and they have done nothing but get better. Especially Storm Duck. The man does not take steps back. He moves forward. And I like the work ethic that Storm Duck has. So, as soon as Storm Duck is back, I think the team will be for the better. I even got his jersey floating around here somewhere. And not many people have a Storm Duck jersey. I like him, so I got him. Now signed to the Dolphins, former tight end Dirk for 1 year, $20 and a Cuban sandwich. I would do it just for the Cuban sandwich. Man, Cuban sandwiches are so good. Oh, it's the best way to eat pickles, I'm telling you. That's funny. Man, if I, I am so old anymore. And I had a weird football journey. I played offensive line all through high school, defense and offense. And I started off as a tackle, then played guard a lot, and then played center my junior and senior year in high school. Um, Went to college, and I started out as a lineman, and just really quick that changed. Okay, I went from North Pole Alaska in this cold, temperate weather where it's not super warm, or humid, and then I went to a place where it was hot, right? Super hot. And the first day of 2 and 2s, which is two full practices and two workout sessions, right? One for calisthenics and that kind of stuff, running, and then the other workout session was weightlifting. So we called them 2 and 2s. And the first week or two of 2 and 2s, it was the second week, I had lost something ridiculous like 55, 60 pounds, um, in those first few couple weeks of practice, and like to the point where I was almost unhealthy. And I was eating. It was just so hot, and I was sweating and working so hard that the coach came up and was talking to me, two coaches, the tight ends coach and the offensive line coach, and he was like, these guys are a lot bigger than you, and you're losing a lot of weight. And I was like, I know, I don't know what to do. I was just getting thrown around. And he was like, can you catch? And I was like, I can catch. I mean, I was a center, I got good hands. So I tried out as tight end, and that's what I ended up doing in college, was tight end. It was just kind of one of those things where my weight loss ended up, making me have to switch positions. So played every position on the offensive line, defensive line, and tight end. So it was just an interesting journey for me. Never good enough to, do anything, special, or, play in the NFL, but definitely enjoyed my time playing. Miss it. Healthy diet is going. How come when you're on a healthy diet, you get hungry, more hungry? Um, oh, it's not really a diet. It's a lifestyle change, is what it is. We'll call it that. It's just, getting away from some things that were unhealthy and continuing. Used to be addicted to a lot of things. Caffeine, um, marijuana, alcohol, painkillers, a lot of things in my past, and being clean of all those things, and nicotine too, being clean of those things and moving into just trying to continue my journey being healthy. The next thing is just trying to lose a little bit of the weight that I put on, in my later years here. I'm 43, so being a dad and being a truck driver, you gain weight. 2 days in Florida, yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough. I was in Oregon, and Oregon, I don't know if you guys know, but Oregon gets ridiculously hot in the summer. So draft me. Yes, draft me. I like fried food though. Fried food is so delicious. Um so yeah, there's an avenue here to win this game, but can they? Will they? I don't know. I have no clue, guys. By the way, make sure you guys throw a like in there. Um, Comment, tell me what you guys think while we're talking about this. I think the best thing that could happen, obviously, is a win. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. There is an avenue for this, and we've talked about some of the things that need to happen. I think just focusing on the task at hand would be huge for this team. There's a lot of things in the air. Mike McDaniel, he's got to be worried about his job. Stephen Ross is impatient at this point. He's upset. I don't blame him. Um, it needs to be fixed. Can it be fixed? Will it be fixed? I don't know. But I tell you what, if we continue the slide, and in the next couple weeks, if we're sitting at 1-6, 2-5. If we're seeing that kind of record, I don't know how Mike McDaniel hangs on to his job. But the bummer about all of that is I don't feel like that's the first move you make. I don't. I don't feel like that's the first move. The first move is so painfully obvious to me that I want that to happen. The one thing that I want to happen is Chris Grier. I want Chris Grier fired. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that way, right? But this is something that could change a lot immediately. And when you're making big changes on a football team, do you guys know of any teams that have fired? I mean, because you ask somebody, what do you do to fix this? And the first answer is fire Ross, fire Grier, or Ross quits, fire Grier, fire Tua, fire Mike McDaniel, fire Anthony Weaver. That's a lot of things at once, right? No team has ever done that. Ever. Go look it up. It's never happened. And it's not going to. You can't do all that at once. What you can do is ditch Chris Grier and let this new GM change all this. I think that would be the best thing to do. Here we go. First year after Ross leaves ownership, the Fins win a ring. He'll be even more pissed. I think if that happens, it'll be his daughter, right? Gator Fanatic brought up a good point, and I mentioned this in a live stream, but I want to reiterate my point on this. Gator Fanatic asked about Dan Marino and, what's his job? Because he's associated with the Dolphins, he has a position, and we talked about that. And I mentioned that, I would love to see him be a general manager. I think Dan Marino could do that job very well. And that's the dream. That's what teams should want, is they should want an ex-player, especially someone of Dan Marino's caliber. They should want that for their team as a general manager. Somebody who knows the game, knows the ins and outs, and knows what it takes to be a player to make a difference. Could you imagine having somebody like that as our general manager, not Chris Grier? Man, talk about doing something to better the team. That would be huge. Chris Grier, kick rocks, bud. See you later. Dan Marino, come on, and this is your office now. Man, that would be great. But if Ross leaves, it'll be his daughter that takes over. The positive that this team has is the special team plays, but the offense and defense need serious work. I agree. I think it's work that could be done, and that's why I'm not totally just downtrodden about all this right now. I see avenues for things to be fixed. It's just a matter of, come on, guys, let's go. Let's go. Let's get this done. Fix it. Josh, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming in, man. Dan's job is to show up whenever he wants, looking handsome and reminding us what a real QB looks like. Oh, man. That's pretty much it. I mean, he's a what do they call it? I can't remember what they call his position. I wrote it down in the comment earlier. But yeah, that's pretty much what he does. He just kind of walks in and out wherever he wants, shows up. What's up, guys? Hangs out in the quarterback's room occasionally, But he's mentioned in interviews that he would love to be the GM for the Dolphins. And if he's willing to, and clearly there's a need for a real general manager for our team, man, why are we not getting him in there in GM? Yeah, definitely. GM has to go first. It has to. Man, need it. Need a new GM. The GM to come in and change everything, but in his time, the way he wants. And if Dan Marino came in and started making moves, show us what you got, brother. I mean, it can't be any worse than what it's been. And I'll even give the promise, and I can't speak for everyone in the world, obviously, because it's just me and my stupid little channel, but I will not change my opinion of you as a quarterback, Mr. Marino, no matter what happens with you as a general manager. I just want to see what you do. That's it. Hint, hint, Mr. Ross. Absolutely. Hint, 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 hint. If he at least worked more with QBs as a coach instead of just popping in once in a while looking good, I'd like that too, other than GM. Yeah, but the problem is he's not a coach, and that's the trick. I don't think he wants to be a coach. I think he wants it. Marino wants to be involved in the business aspect of the team. Definitely does. But yeah, I'd love to have him as a coach as well. I just don't know. I don't know. Man, yeah, that would be nuts. Even if he was a coach, I would love it. Yes, absolutely. What Dan wants, Dan gets. I think that would be fantastic. I would love to have Dan Marino as a coach as well. Definitely. Oh, sorry, guys. Got to check this real quick. Okay. Sorry. I've got about 115 to 120 soldiers coming over to the house tomorrow. Putting on a big barbecue for them and a bonfire, letting them get off post for a while and have some fun. So, been busy this week between work and setting up for that. So, let's see. I fully believe that Greer has dirt on Ross. No way someone gets through 4 rebuilds and keeps. Absolutely. It's got to be something, right? Any other GM would be fired by now. Definitely, Josh. And at this point, I think Stephen Ross is just going to wait until I think Greer's going to be there as long as Stephen Ross is there. That's the sad part. Man, if Stephen Ross fires Greer, the proverbial crap's going to hit the fan. I mean, some stuff's going to come out, and it's not going to be good. Greer must have good under the table head game. I just read that out loud. Goodness gracious. That's true. That's a good point. Man. I think if Chris Greer comes out wearing a black dress with stains on it, I think that's it. I think you just got to cut him loose at that point, guys. That's over. Chris Greer's in a dress. He's done. I'm not politically correct. Just get him out of here. Goodness. Ah, what a mess. You gotta love these Dolphins, right? Oh man. Guys, it's I know it sucks. It's hard. It's rough. I think it'll get better. I think change has to happen for it to get better, but I think it'll get better. I think change is coming. Just to what degree and who, hopefully a few changes happen, but first and foremost, we've got to get Chris Greer gone. And the best thing about that, knowing that, is that the whole fan base agrees. I think I've maybe seen 2 fans talking on some of these channels where they think that Chris Greer should keep his job. Everybody else, 99.9% of Dolphins fans all agree Chris Greer's got to go. And with that, with such a consensus from this fan base, this is the kind of stuff that will reach Stephen Ross. I'm not saying my video personally, but if the whole fan base is vocal and agrees on something like this, we can put this in the ear of Stephen Ross. All right? It can happen, and it will. We just need to be insistent as fans. We don't deserve this, right? None of us do. It's been too long. 26 years now. I don't think we're going to make playoffs this year. It's been a long time. 50-something years since the Super Bowl. Yikes. In all seriousness, I think it's a lot harder to let a GM go than it is to let a head coach go. Both are gone. In my opinion, both are gone, but Mike might get the axe before Chris Greer. Yeah, like I said, wants and what the team actually needs, 2 entirely different things, and I agree it is harder. I think that they'll probably end up scapegoating Mike McDaniel first. I agree. Um, is it something that probably needs to happen? Yeah, but it's not what I want to see happen first. You know, um, I suppose it's just the way the cookie crumbles and crap rolls downhill. Collis, thanks for coming in, dude. Appreciate it. Just tuned in and agree that Marino would be a great GM. I'd like to see Harbaugh or Shula as our next coach. I like Shula. The more he progresses in his career, the more I end up liking him. Plus the name, you can't ignore that. Harbaugh would be interesting too. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, but he has had a really rough go of it the last few years. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, definitely. It's rough. It's rough. Shula was our Shula, not the one that we're talking about. Maybe becoming our head coach, but our previous head coach Shula, he was a Dolphin. I mean, he was Dolphins. That was him. Um, he would be definitely such a sad thing. Those of you guys that are in here, thank you so much for being here and listening to me yammer. I think that the Dolphins are going to lose this game against the Chargers. I think it'll be close, but I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins scoring 27 points and the Los Angeles Chargers scoring 28. 28, 27. Miami loses to the Chargers at home, falls to 1-5, and possibly see some things changing. I hope Miami wins. I'll be rooting for it. Obviously, this Sunday coming up, I will be live streaming the second half of the game like I normally do. So I'll see you guys then as well. Might do a live stream at some point before then, but I'm not sure right now. It depends on the work schedule. Make sure you guys throw a like down. Those of you that are in here, if you come in here and look at the video after it's gone not live, please throw a like down anyway. It helps a bunch. Make sure you comment. Tell me what you guys think about this game. If you decide you want to donate to the channel, all the donations go to the channel. They don't go anywhere else. It doesn't go in my pocket. I use it for the channel. The Cash App is at the bottom of the screen there. If you decide to do that, don't feel like you have to. It is what it is. I'm going to keep doing it, even if I have to do this with a pirated stream. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Fins up, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Stay hopeful. We'll try.